evening, YouTube. You guys are watching another segment of the TheCaliEffect. Today, I am bringing you that sauce, alright? I am not bringing you a normal Metalfoes deck. I am not bringing you any Metalfoes deck that top Denver, though I believe that this deck could possibly be the best Metalfoes deck there is out there. I am bringing you running through the 6 Metalfoes, also known as Supply Metalfoes, Supply Squad Metalfoes. It is a very awesome deck. Now, the thought process behind Supply Squad Metalfoes is that if you have Supply Squad on the field, you can generate so much advantage that your opponent really doesn't know what to do. They can either break your board and give you advantage, or they cannot break your board and let you do what you do, which is even worse than not breaking your board. The next best thing is that this deck has so many draw cards, so many ways to get into your necessary pieces, that more often than not, you're going to be able to make some really nasty boards, as well as being able to add certain spices and text to the deck that the deck normally doesn't have access to. This time around, you're going to be seeing Boa Baboon, and not in the Zodiac form. Unfortunately, I was a little slow on that department. I was like, oh, let's just make rank 3s, and you know, I wasn't really thinking that Invoker was a really good rank 3 to summon. Most importantly, it does allow a lot of exceed avenues, preventing you from being D-barrier, but we'll get into that later. The most important thing I want to iterate to you guys, the best thing about the TheCaliEffect is that if you guys go and like my like page, you guys can decide what video we will be doing next. That's right. For build breakdown, it is decided between 4 decks, a contest between these 4 decks, that whatever gets the most likes will be done for build breakdown the following week. I would love for you guys to go to my Facebook page and like that up. Thank you very much. But back to the running through the 6 Supply Squad, that sauce deck. It has a very easy matchup against decks that don't want to punish you from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Or, you know, even back row heavy decks. This deck has more opportunities to ruin the opponent's board, because most back row, guess what? These are D-barriers or solemn strikes. I'm only scared of the solemn strikes, and you're going to need to open all 3 to stop me from doing what I'm doing, and hope that I don't draw any of my back row destruction, such as Karaz, Typhoons, Eccentric Archfiends. Yes, I said Karaz. I will give you a card to destroy your solemn strikes and then proceed to pendulum summon. The deck is really good at doing stuff like that. Another great thing about this deck is that I run multiple copies of combination and counter, and a lot of people, they don't do that. You're wondering why. Because we destroy so many cards. We actually run out of Metalfoes cards before you can know it, and a lot of people are like, oh, just make them Ethereum. Not as easy when you have so many avenues to explore and you want to do so many other things. So Mithrium isn't always in the question, or as we like to call him over here, Mithrilium. Get it? Because he's real Liam, and you know, we running through the 6 with real Liam. Alright, whatever. I really like to say that this deck really is bananas, though. B-A-N-A-N, because they're all yellow and like banana. Alright, you guys are not making this easy. I know look, my corny jokes can only be going so far. I mean, the deck's practically all corn. I'm pretty much there. Anyways, again, you guys are going to be seeing one of the least favorable matchups. And if I am playing against, you know, Cosmo relevant decks, then we probably would be maining that Utopia Lightning situation we got going over there to out the Dark Destroyer. This is a deck that does that originally it struggles against back row and Cosmo, because they summon Dark Destroyer and you're like, I 3K beater that can't be targeted. I target and don't have anything over 3K. So yeah, fortunately this variant allows me to play around cards like Cosmo Dark Lady. As you guys can see, I made a Trident, and he had to destroy it or he was going to lose his Dark Lady, and I got to draw a card doing it in the process. So now we're going to destroy our Boa Baboons, if he allows me to, which I hope you should, because if you kind of have a way to stop that, I'm just going to use other cards. And now my Boa Baboons are going to trigger to special summon 2 more to the side of the field, and then they're going to allow me to see my options. I can actually go through my deck and figure out what cards I want to play. So Whiptail to the bottom, and Supply, so Whiptail and Supply Squad go to the bottom. Next, I'm going to activate Metalfoes Fusion to bring out the Mithrilium. Now, Mithrilium is a very pivotal card because, like I said, we go through so many cards, so many Metalfoes trap spells and trap cards very fast, and the fact that we actually run 2 of each still isn't enough. So Mithrilium actually allows us to recycle those cards. He's going to activate Call It 100 to special summon Slip Rider, and he's going to try to destroy my scales. Well, here's the problem. I've drawn so much advantage off the Boa Baboons and the Supply Squads. You can break my scales all day. it does not matter. The ability to constantly set scales is just something that this deck can really do. Talk about scales, man, you might get the dragon, because I might be dragging your life points down to 0. Get it? Scales, dragon, dragging your life. Whatever. I don't think you guys ready for these bars. This time around, he's actually going to summon a Dark Destroyer, and I thought I was in trouble until he cycled it to a Slip Rider to destroy my scale. And I'm like, oh, whatever will I do? Well, first, let's get rid of one of these Slip Riders. You take that to your hand. And second, let's go ahead and make this Break Sword, because I need room. Or no, even better, let's activate Archfiend Central to destroy Metalfoes combination, because there's the scale that I need. Congratulations, you played yourself. Now I'll make the Break Sword, and then I'll Pendulum summon the cards that I need, and just for that spice, we'll make the Castell, because, you know, your card was in the way. This game is a game that I actually really want to go into detail about. As you guys can see, I drew the combo, and we've advanced the Zoo strategy to actually play Tiger Mordor and Broad Bull, because they help the deck like so much. They legitimately make really good targets. Like, I don't even want to go in detail how good Broad Bull and Tiger Mordor are in this deck. You'll hear it at the end of the deck profile, or for the deck profile. And we're playing against a deck that did top YCS Denver, and I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, like, this deck is really good. I think it's probably the best variant of this deck. He's gonna Book of Moon my Dryden, and I'm like, oh, yeah. Then he's gonna activate Barrage. I'm like, oh. Alright, now I saw the Barrage and the Book of Moon. So, yeah. And now he's gonna make the Broad Bull, and I'm like, oh. Yeah, this is not happening. Let's go ahead and make that Metalfoes Outcast to prevent this whole little loop of things to happen. I mean, Outcast is a pretty good card. Now he makes the Dryden. I'm forced to get rid of the Dryden. Yeah. Now let's get rid. Now I'm thinking I'm all safe, right? I draw a card on top of it. I'm safe. I'm good. He activates Instant Fusion. I'm like, bruh. He had the Book of Moon, the Instant Fusion, the Barrage. What can he have in there? Like, is there like a limit to cards that he can have in there? Well, at least I know for sure that I can't see Dryden anymore. Like, he already used it. So unless somehow he summons 4 monsters to his side of the field, or however many monsters it requires to make Dryden, I am perfectly safe. Okay, that's the only thing I know. So now he's going to set 3 back row, Daigusto Emerald, and then make a Tiger Mordor, and attacks into my Dryden. And I'm like, cool. This is awesome. This is freaking awesome. Now I'm dealing with 3 back row. I only have 2 cards. I'm playing the disadvantage game. He's going to de-barrier me. And now here is where I start to like cry. Until I activate, you know, my Metalfoes combination, destroy it to set the fusion, and now I can do a whole bunch of other things. Because you guys thought the TheCaliEffect was on the wrong side? Nah. Next we're going to normal summon the Metalfoes Gold Driver. And then we're going to flip with that Metalfoes fusion to bring Mithrilium, and then we're going to shuffle to draw another supply squad. So, like, we're awesome right now. We're really good. I'm going to use Mithrilium to shuffle the back row, because I'm like, what if it's a Quaking? Whatever, alright. I'm just going to attack over to Emerald, call it a day, alright? I want that in the graveyard anyway. He special summons Terratop, and I'm like, man, do you really, like, can you not get all of the answers just for me? Please. Just this one time. And I'm like, the Instant Fusion again for the Norden? Now, hypothetically, if he did not make Lightning and he attacked over my Mithrilium, I would have been able to special summon 2 Metalfoes cards and then draw 2 cards. That's advantage you love. Now I'm in a position where it doesn't look good, but 3 supply squads on the board. This might be good. 3 supply squads, cross our fingers with the counter, and he lets the counter go through. I'm like, oh my god, this is freaking awesome, all right? Now we're going to enter battle. Bolt Flame over the Totem Bird. Then we're going to Typhoon what we would guess is a 3rd dimensional parry. He was really waiting for me to try to fuse into something. And I'm like, you know what? Sure, I'm not going to fuse, all right? We're going to Pendulum summon, because if you de-barrier me for one thing, granted, I have the next thing. If you de-barrier me for Pendulums, I can still Fusion, Synchro, and Exceed. And if you de-barrier me for the other ones, then this deck can still do the other things, which is freaking awesome. I mean, you guys got to give me credit for making the deck this good that can get over Dimensional Barrier. I've been de-barriered twice in this game, and it has not affected me whatsoever. As you guys can see, now I'm going to make a board that can combat the Utopia and also keep me from losing the game with only 700 life points. He's going to get Spiral Super Agent right and destroy the supply squad, but unfortunately for him, it's just like this much too late to be destroying supply squad, because I've already gained 3 cards from it. It's already paid for itself. Now he's going to make his own Daigusto Emerald in hopes of drawing. I have no idea what he hoped to draws. I genuinely don't know. I'm trying to think, and I can't think of anything that would help him at this current moment. It just doesn't seem fathomable. But he's going to go ahead and go into another Spiral Resort. That's going to search him another Spiral Monster, which, like I said, this Spiral variant is really good. Because at the end phase, you get to shuffle a monster from your graveyard to your deck, and zoos go through their monsters like crazy. So it's like, why isn't everybody playing this Spiral Luna Light crap? So before he declares his attack, and while we're in battle phase, I'm going to just go ahead and absorb that card. And then he's going to have be forced to attack into my Daiguster Emerald, granting me 2 cards. So now he's playing my advantage. And like I said, the longer supply squads are on the board, the harder it becomes for the opponent to win. I was able to resolve supply squad enough, and it essentially gave me the advantage to win. Thank you guys. Let's get on. Alright guys, we are on to the Metalfoes deck profile. I really hope you guys enjoyed the replays. For starters, we're going to be running 3 copies of Metalfoes Gold Driver, 3 copies of Silver. These are our low scales. 3 copies of Volflame, 2 copies of Skillin, 2 copies of Bismugear. The reason why we just blaze through all of those Metalfoes because they all serve the exact same function. When they're in the pendulum scale, you can target one face-up card you control, destroy it, and if you do, set one Metalfoes Spell or Trap card from your deck to your Spell or Trap card zone. Metalfoes Bismugear is the only effect Metalfoes monster we have in the deck. When it is destroyed, we get to, during the end phase, search one Metalfoes monster from our deck to our hand. Next is 3 copies of Dragoons of Draconia. This card is awesome. We run it because it is a level 4, normal Pendulum Fire Beast Warrior type monster. 800 attack only adds icing to the cake. When it's in the pin zone, if a normal monster we control destroys an opponent's monster, we get to add 1 level 4 or higher Pendulum monster from our deck to our hand. So it tutors either a low scale through Gold Driver or a high scale through Volflame. It's a Rescue Rabbit target. It's a Painful Decision target. It is a Zodiac Broad Bull target. It just has so many applications inside of this deck. 2 Eccentric Archfiends. When it's in the pin scale, you can destroy 1 Spell or Trap card and itself, and when it's in the monster zone, you can tribute it to target 1 monster on the field and destroy it. Really good for destroying our own cards to gain certain effects. 3 copies of Boa Baboon. This card is freaking awesome. First of all, it allows us to unbrick our hand by sending Metalfoes counter, Metalfoes fusion, full Metalfoes fusion, Metalfoes combination from our hand to the deck, even extra copies of Boa Baboon by drawing a card. It literally allows us to draw a card and then put a card from our hand to the deck, top or bottom. It's freaking awesome. What makes it even worse is when it's destroyed, you can just special summon 2 more copies of it from your deck to your side of the field. So it's an instant rank 3. It unbricks our hands. It allows us to draw cards. It's just really good. 2 copies of Karaz. A lot of Metalfoes decks have been using Karaz in the past. We decided to bring back Karaz because it allows us to draw more cards, and then sometimes it can be spot removal against back row heavy decks, something that the Pendulum concept does struggle with. 2 copies of Gofu. Now, the Gofu Karaz combo, really nasty. You special summon Gofu, you gain 2 tokens, you tribute the Gofu for a Karaz. Karaz effect destroys either the Karaz and the token or both tokens, and you draw 2 cards. It's basically like dig deeper into your deck type strategy. But mainly, Gofu can also be used for synchro plays, for the Ultimate Azulkin combo. It has so much utility inside of this deck. It also provides tokens to be destroyed with your Metalfoes cards. 2 copies of Vortex Trooper. This is a card that allows us to further unbrick our hand with pesky cards that we don't want. When it's normal summon, we get to shuffle 2 cards from our hand into our deck to draw 2 more cards. Furthermore, when it's destroyed, we get to draw 1 card. So combine Vortex Trooper with Supply Squad and a Metalfoes monster in the scale, we're going to be going through our deck pretty fast. 2 copies of Zodiac Whiptail. I will explain to you why we only run 2 copies of Zodiac Whiptail a little bit later, but essentially it's the only Zodiac monster I feel comfortable with playing right now that allows us to go into our Zodiac extra deck to gain additional effects. Also, its effects is not that good or not that bad, giving our monster 1200 attack per Zodiac equipped to it, and if that monster battles an opponent's monster, it's banished after damage calculation. You have to be weird not to run this card. And then 1 copy of Rescue Rabbit. Dominantly, most of our deck is normal monsters, so Rescue Rabbit legitimately tutors almost every single monster from our deck to our side of the field for a free Exceed and sometimes even fusion play. For spells, 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. We use this not only to destroy the opponent's back row, but to destroy our own. We'll tell you that in a little bit. I know you guys are thinking, like, why would I destroy my own cards? But you'll see why. Most importantly, we can't run Mystical Space Typhoon because discarding is a little too much for us. 3 copies of Supply Squad. This card makes the deck go. So first of all, what it says, once per turn, if a monster you control is destroyed by a card effect, or by battle or card effect, draw 1 card. Now think about all of the Metalfoes cards that I just said that, you know, destroy your own cards to set Metalfoes scales. Now think about the Vortex Trooper, that when it's destroyed, you get to draw an additional card. Think about the Boa Baboon. When it's destroyed, you get to summon additional pieces. Think about the Karaz. Think about tributing your 2 or your Gofu, summoning your Karaz, destroying your 2 tokens, and drawing 3 to 4 or to 5 cards because you have Supply Squads. This card is freaking awesome. It makes the deck go. Normally, when you activate it, it's going to pay for itself immediately once you start activating your Metalfoes cards. And then on your opponent's turn, when they destroying your cards, you start to steamroll your opponent with advantage. They have to get rid of that card, which basically prevents them from getting rid of your scales because they have to get rid of that. Next is 2 copies of Painful Decision. Dragoons and Draconia is a Painful Decision target, but more often than not, we need low scales and high scales. I run 3 Gold Driver, 2 Skilling. Those are our low scales. Those are our high scales. The Draconias are high scales. The Silver are low scales, or the Draconias are low scales. So basically, we have access to any low and high scale in our deck with Painful Decision. The Metalfoes Fusion. This card allows us to fusion summon any Metalfoes monster from our extra deck, but most importantly, it cycles itself back into the deck and allows us to draw a card, so it's really awesome. Full Metalfoes Fusion, it reminds me of El Shaddai Fusion, because we get to fuse on our opponent's turn and make an amazing monster. It also has Metalfoes in its name, so we can shuffle it back to our deck with Mithrilium or whatever. 2 copies of Metalfoes Combination. When a monster is fusion summoned, we get to special summon a monster or a Metalfoes monster from our graveyard with the level less. That doesn't sound that great, right? The second effect is going to blow you guys' socks away. When this card is destroyed, we get to add 1 Metalfoes card from our deck to our hand. Think about it. When we destroy it with Karaz, when we destroy it with our own Mystical Space Typhoons or our Eccentric Archfiends, it essentially allows us to tutor a scale to our hand. And it's settable legitimately by our Metalfoes cards. This card is awesome. And then 2 Metalfoes counters. Activate when a monster we control, or is it a card? Oh, I'm sorry. We can activate this when cards we control are destroyed. It allows us to special summon a Metalfoes monster from our deck. That's not good enough for you guys? Okay, what about this? If it's in the graveyard, except for the turn that it was activated or sent there that turn, you can banish it to add 1 Metalfoes monster from your extra deck to your hand. So complete scales. Nobody likes complete scales. If that doesn't get you, I don't know what will. This card is awesome. Really love how this Metalfoes deck is built. It took me quite some time. I actually got the Vortex Trooper and Supply Squad idea from Jose Frias. You know, he plays a lot. And then I incorporated my own idea, like the Boa Baboon I've seen a lot. The 3 copies of Draconia is my idea, and I just literally mashed it all together. I've been wanting to play Metalfoes for a very long time, but the fact that Kirin got banned and it allowed me to actually play stuff like this just made it over the top. For the extra deck, 1 copy of Orichalc. When this card is sent to the graveyard, I believe. Yeah, if it's sent from the field to the graveyard, I can target 1 card our opponent controls and destroys, and inflicts piercing damage on top of that. Actually, it inflicts double piercing damage on top of it being a 2800 attack monster. It's really good. 2 copy of Mithrilium. Okay, you can't say Mithrilium. You have to say Mithrilium. All right. Basically, what this card does is that we can target 2 Metalfoes cards in our graveyard, shuffle them to the deck, target 1 card on the field, return it to the hand. So I've used this on my first turn to bounce scales to my hand to activate the scales to use them again. It also gets rid of problematic cards. The next thing it does is when it's sent to the graveyard, I can special summon 1 Metalfoes Pendulum monster from your graveyard or face up from your extra deck. Just making sure it says that. 1 copy of Metalfoes Adamantine. This card actually allows us to make the Crystal Wing. 1 copy of Full Metalfoes Alchemist. This card's freaking awesome too. Okay, so once per turn during our opponent's turn, we can steal 1 of their monsters and make it equipped to him. His defense becomes equal to their attack. So the if I steal a Blue Eyes White Dragon, his defense is 3000. Just make it 100% sure. Yep. Next thing is if I am going to fusion summon, I can use the card that I stole for Alchemist as material. So yeah, that's pretty good. 1 copy of Crystal Wing with the Ultimate Zolkin. You make it with Gofu and then you fusion into the Adamantine. Whoa. That's, I don't run that. Well, I do run it. 1 copy of Castell, spot removal. Daigusto Emerald is to shuffle, you know, cards back into my deck. Mostly extra deck cards. But most importantly, we have to shuffle the Zoo Engine back. So, I'll teach you guys in the combo tutorial, but it's the reason why we run the Tiger Motor over the Broad Bull, and we run, you know, the Broad Bull and the Trident. This is really easy. It's very fun. The MX Saber Invoker and the Phantom Knight's Breaksword. Now, there is room for one card, if I'm correct, and I do play the Psyframe Lord Omega. You guys can play legitimately whatever you want. I chose the Psyframe Lord Omegas because I run a lot of 3s and I run the Gofu, so I don't want to be stuck in a situation where I don't, you know, when I have those 2 monsters on the field and can't do anything else, I'll just make the Omega. I'll probably switch it out for another Alcahest and try to find a way to run another full Metalfoes Fusion, because I want that to be technically a trap card. We do run more copies of Metalfoes Fusion and Metalfoes Counter and Metalfoes Combination than normal decks, but it explains why when I go into the extra deck. 3 copies of, or side deck, 3 copies of Jinzo, Heliozoic, back row, GG. 2 copies of Amphromage Sloth. This card is legitimately a lockout. While it's on the field, the opponent we can't go into the extra deck. So basically, I do whatever I have to do, and then I summon this card. When it is in the pin zone, you can't search. So, you know, it's really good. Really, really good, right? Next is 2 copies of Artifact Lancey. I might bump it up to 3. Really good against Noates. The 2 Gamma Seals tribute my opponent's monsters. The Lava Golem tribute 2 of my opponent's monsters. Side Blocker. I felt this card was necessary because a lot of people play a lot of weird cards like Cough Cough Imperial Order. So summon Side Blocker, call Imperial Order, and then just go on. 2 copies of Forbidden Chalice for Zoo. And then the reason why I play 2 Metalfoes Combination is Storm. This and the Jinzos are just outright blowouts against back row deck. So basically what I do is I set my scales, I destroy my scales and everything. I wind up with 2 combinations. Or normally 2 combinations in 1 scale, or 2 scales in 2 combinations. Then I'll activate Storm. What Storm does is it destroys all spell and trap cards I control. Then I get to destroy all my opponent's spell and trap cards they control. So think about it. I'm destroying my Metalfoes combinations, which means I'm going to search 2 scales. My opponent's going to lose their whole board. Then I'm going to set my 2 scales and then pendulum summon the cards that I proceeded to destroy from my pendulum zone, which, like I said, is an outright blowout. That is it for the main deck, side deck, and extra deck. Now I can get you to just a couple of combo tutorials. All right, on to the combo tutorials, and I'm telling you, this combo is nutty. It gets worse and worse depending on how many more cards you have in your hand. We're going to start off with the simplest of the simplest. You need 1 Metalfoes card and 1 Boa Baboon. Now, this is the Zoo Engine plus more, and the reason why I run Tiger Motor over Broad Bull. So first, you're going to summon the Boa Baboon. Boa Baboon is going to draw 1 card and then put a card to the top of your deck or bottom of your deck, all right? So we're just going to, whatever, it doesn't even matter, right? Then you're going to activate the Volflame in your scale, destroying the Boa Baboon. So I'm going to say this is my graveyard. And with that, for this specific super combo, I'm just going to go ahead and set the counter. Now, granted, there are so many other more combos you could be doing, and it really all depends on your hand. So, but for the super combo, we'll set the counter. And then we'll summon the 2 Boa Baboons off of Boa Baboon's effect. Now, we'll use those 2 cards to make the MX Saber Invoker. Now, here's where things get a little tricky. You activate the Invoker's effect. That's engraved. And you special summon our Zodiac Whiptail to our side of the field. Ready to whip some tail. Get it? Because his name is Whiptail. Now, here's where things, like I said, get a little more interesting. The first thing we're going to make is the Tiger Motor. And we're going to treat the Tiger Motor this time around as if it were the Borbo. It's literally just a material. Next, we're going to overlay again into the Broad Bull. We're going to activate the effects of Broad Bull. Now, there are multiple ways you can go. Let's say if I had a whole bunch of pendulum cards and I wanted to make a low scale, I would search the Dragoons of Draconia. I mean, obviously, it's a Beast Warrior target. But let's say I'm going first. I'm feeling really good about my Metalfoes scales, and I really just want to make Trident as strong as possible and almost unbeatable. I'm going to search the Whiptail. You are going to keep the Whiptail in your hand. Seriously. Keep the Whiptail in your hand. Next thing you're going to do is make the Zodiac Trident. Now, you have a 1200 attack Trident and an MX Silver Evoker over 2 cards, as well as other cards in your hand. If you are to activate another scale, let me get another scale. I'm just going to say that I had another scale, and for some reason, I didn't have any other cards, because it really doesn't even say anything. Let's just say Volflame. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to activate the Volflame. I'm going to destroy the Invoker. So, you go to the graveyard. And literally, after you use Invoker's effect once, you don't need it again. So, don't be afraid to destroy the Invoker after you do your combo. And I'm going to set the second counter. So now I have a 2400, possible 2400 attack Dryden with Whiptail in hand if they decide to attack into it. The reason why I hold on to the Whiptail, so let's say if my opponent doesn't, they don't really open they open subpar, they just like Dark Hold me. We're going to activate both copies of Metalfoes counter. Now, granted, I'm saying this is a hypothetical. There are so many other ways for you to do this. Excuse me. There's Rescue Rabbit. There's just Pendulum summoning them outright. There's Painful Decision. There's so many ways to get 2 level 4s in your graveyard. So we're going to throw this into the graveyard, but both our Metalfoes counters are going to trigger. And that's going to summon 2 Gold Drivers, not Volflame, even if they were in the extra deck. 2 Gold Drivers to our side of the field. So watch this, sons. Watch this. So back to our turn. We're going to overlay Gold Driver on Gold Driver. And now you guys are going to figure out why I play Daigusto Emerald. We're going to make the Daigusto Emerald. We're going to activate the Emerald, detaching the Gold Driver. And now we're going to select the Zoo combo. Oops, sorry. Not that one. Where's the third Zoo card? Where's the oh, we're going to select the Zoo trio. And return those back into our extra deck and then draw 1 card. Now, this is why I tell you guys to hold on to the Whiptail. You're going to summon the Whiptail. Now with that, you're going to make the Broad Bull this time around. That's going to be the Borbo. Then you're going to make the Tiger Modar. Tiger Modar effect is going to detach the Broad Bull to attach the Whiptail that was in our graveyard. And I bet you guys are like, man, that 2400 attack Tiger Modar is really good. But you know how we gonna end it up with that Suave? Make the Dryden. Oh my god, now they have to deal with Dryden again for another time. And if they somehow get over this combo, well, you still have Daigusto Emerald to make, to shuffle a Whiptail, to shuffle a Dryden, and a Broad Bull. So you can do the exact same thing to your opponent again and again and again. It does not matter. The extended combo, like I said, there's so many ways to make that Daigusto Emerald. As long as you get back into that Daigusto Emerald, you are good. The next combo, not really a combo, it's just actually what I said. These 3 cards are like magnificent. You're going to plus so much, guys. I'm serious. As many copies of Supply Squads, it doesn't matter. If you have all 3, you're a god, okay? Because you're going to activate 1 to 3 Supply Squads, special summon your Gofu, gain 2 tokens, tribute the Gofu for the Karaz. Now you're going to activate Karaz's effect. He, depending on your hand, if you have like, well, actually, no, it doesn't matter. He's going to destroy the 2 tokens. You're going to draw 3 cards. How is that not good? If you have 2 more Supply Squads, you're going to draw 5 cards. Like, that's just, like, it literally just refreshed your hand over a 3-card combo. Like, it's really, really good. It also gave you Field Presence. The next is the Ultimate Zolkin, because you guys know I love Ultimate Zolkin. So you're going to special summon the Gofu, and it's going to give you 2 tokens. So I'm going to pretend this Now Later. I don't have 2 Now Laters. For some reason, these 2 packets are the 2 tokens for you guys as visual representation. I'm going to activate Stealing because Stealing is the worst Metalfoe in our deck right now. We're going to destroy a token to set Metalfoes Fusion to our side of the field. Next, we're going to activate Metalfoes Fusion. We're going to fuse the token, or you can actually normal summon the Gold Driver if you want it in your deck. Sometimes I keep it in hand. It depends on the rest of my hand. You're going to fuse the token because it's a normal monster and the Gold Driver to make Metalfoes Adamante. Where's Adamante? Is this where my Adamantes are? Where's my extra deck? Somebody ran off of my extra deck. Okay, nobody ran off my extra deck. And with that, you're going to make Metalfoes Adamante. Now, since you guys have a tuner and a non-tuner, you send them both to the graveyard. And you make Ultimate Zolkin. Gee, he's back. Then you're going to activate the effects of full Metalfoes Fusion, shuffle your deck, draw 1 card. If you have either another Metalfoes scale, you set the scale, destroy the skill, and set the card. This effect activates, summon the Crystal Wing, or if you guys are just cool and somehow like drew Supply Squad or whatever, you set it, activate its effect, summon the Crystal Wing. Gee, free Crystal Wing. Woo! Now to the last combo. What is this combo? Oh man, it's not even really, like, it's not a super combo. This deck just has so many ways to continuously plus. It requires your Vortex Trooper. If you have 2 cards in your hand that you don't need or don't want in your hand, the shuffle with Vortex Trooper makes the combo even awesome. Because while summoning Vortex Trooper and activating its effect doesn't necessarily get you a plus, it gets rid of dead cards in your hand. So it's a pseudo plus. So you summon the Vortex Trooper, you shuffle both of your freaking Zodiac Whiptails, because you never want Whiptail in your hand back into your deck. You draw 2 Metalfoes scales. You're like completely happy, alright? Then you activate Supply Squad and you activate Metalfoes Volflame. You destroy the Vortex Trooper. You set any of your Metalfoes cards depending on the rest of your hand. It could be a fusion, full Metalfoes fusion, counter, combination. You draw a card because of the Vortex Trooper, and you draw another card because of Supply Squad. Tell me, how is this deck not good? It legitimately pluses on playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I really love this deck, and I hope you guys enjoyed the combo tutorial, the deck profile, and the build breakdown. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. I am going to eat this now later.